Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Big hello to the new subscribers. I got another one like the other one here. This one's a 1997 Johnson 30 horse, and I happen to own this one. I took it in on trade. Fella told me, runs like a champ, purrs like a kitten, spins like a top, starts first pull. But anyway, I took it in and traded him. If you remember those Yamaha 3-cylinder 40s I had, I traded him one of them plus some monetary amount and took this in on trade, sight unseen. And you say, well, why would you do that? Well, the monetary part met the basic requirements of the transaction. That's why. So overall, I don't think the motor's bad. She don't start first pull. She don't run like no champ, or purr like a kitty. So one thing I noticed is when I pull the recoil, it's not very good and a lot of salt comes out of it. I'll show you what we got for spark, and then for those who still say you can't read spark plugs, let's look. Here's the two plugs that come out of here. As you can hopefully see, as soon as I get them in there, one is nice and black, and the other one is perfectly clean. Where you at, spark plugs? I'm trying. There they are. Welcome to the show. Alright, you can see the one on the right is perfectly clean, and the one on the left is black. So he either replaced it or who knows. And the clean one came out of the top cylinder, the dirty one came out of the bottom. Let me see if I can get my light to turn on here, man. It says on. But anyway, you can definitely read them. So, let me show you what I got. If you're wondering what the big blue thing is, that's one of my Colombian vices that I'm cleaning up, painting up. Ain't it pretty? Yeah, it's a nice one. So anyway, let's go over here and look at our victim. Here's our victim. Alright. There's the Purdy 30. It's a 1997. I believe the tiller handle on it actually came off of a later model 15 or 99. That's what I believe. I ain't sure if I'm going to replace it or not because it works just fine. The kill switch, which used to go there, he put the old style, moved it around there. I'm not sure I like that. Sticking out there like that. I'll probably put it in that hole right there. So, let's see if we can get you down. Ooh. You should be able to see the Sparky Spider. Now, something you do when you're doing these spark checks, at least I always do it. Here I've got an old glove. Put it in between the cowl pan and the spark plug cap, because if not, a lot of times you'll get sparky around here and you'll think you won't be getting spark to your spark spider because the spark's happening down in here somewhere. So make sure you got an insulator of some kind in there. I want you to know. But anyway, watch the Sparky Spider. You see that? You got Sparky. And if we follow the little Sparky wire that had spark, you'll see it goes to the bottom coil. Well, you remember what them spark plugs look like, right? Okay. So he replaced probably the spark plug that was in here. Why it was so clean, hoping that was going to be his issue. But it's all clean because it wasn't doing anything. Now, I'm going to do a compression check because there are other possibilities, such as a head gasket, letting a little water coming through there and cleaning that spark plug. So let me get set up and I'll get my compression tester in there and we'll see what we get there. Be right back. Alright, I got the compression tester hooked up to the lower cylinder, and you can see hopefully it's 0. So let me pull it over. That should be good enough to give us a reading. And that says 120, spot on the money. At 120. Okay. That's the bottom. Let's do the topses. Okay. Let's see what the bottom, the top gets. Alright, so bottom 120. You see we zeroed out on 0. See what we get on the top. We get exactly 120. 120 top and bottom is good. So now I will have to chase around and find if it's a bad wire, if it's a bad coil. And the first thing I'm going to do is switch the coil wires. Well, the first thing I'll do is look around, see if I see any bare wires, wires that have broke off and whatnot. I have also unhooked the kill switch, so it ain't part of the circuit anymore. So now first I'll look around, see if I see any bare wires. Then I'll chase the coils by moving the wires that feed the top coil to the bottom, vice versa, and see if anything changes there. So let me look around a little bit and I'll get right back and see if we find anything. Okay, so what I did was I took the wires that go to the coil coming from the pack, I switched them. So this one was the wire that was feeding the bottom coil. This one, you can see the blue stripe. Remember the skies up above us are blue. So this one should go on top. And you gotta remember the bottom coil was the only one firing. So I switched those wires. If the coil's good, now the top one should fire because this wire was firing this coil. So if this wire fires that coil, then we know the coil's good. So let's see what we get. And if you remember, it was this one that was fired. So now it should be this one that's fired. And there you go. So the coil is good. I looked at the wiring. I didn't see anything badly amiss, but I did see one spot on here, right here. See that? That was all smashed in there, and it feels a little iffy there, so I'm gonna peel that back and just check that stretch of wire coming from the pack. So there's a little damage in there, so that makes me suspicious of it. So I'm gonna look at that first, and if not, I'll probably have to test the power pack because both coils are good. We know that now. Be right back. Okay, I peeled those wires back where I showed you that bad spot was, and if you look, you can see the blue stripe, and I can almost guarantee you that's going to be the problem. Look how that bends. See it right there? It's broke right there. There's probably some corrosion. I see a little bit of see-through, but I'm going to peel that back, twist that wire, and let's see what we get. Oh yeah. Now I just peeled this wire in two. Let me show you. Is my light on? Nope. You can just tell by looking at the wire. You see the wire is much shorter than the insulation. It was broke right there. See that? See how much where the wire should be laying? And see how much longer all that insulation is? That wire wasn't connected. So let me twist it together real quick and let's see if we don't get spark on both. I'm going to peel some of this off right here. Didn't mean to peel that much. Yes, I should be using a wire stripper. Good not. Okay, I got me some good wire now. Just twist them real quick just to see what we get. If we don't get some fire back now. Keep in mind these things are still hooked up back afterward, but I should have, I'm thinking I'll have spark on both. So let's watch the Sparky Spider and see if we don't have sparkums. Hey, look at there, look at there, look at there. So, now I will hook those coils back up. Blue stripe, blue sky above. I'll put it on the top. Well, first, I'll make a permanent connection on that wire where it was broke. That's what you do sometimes when you're not getting fire. That's the basic procedure I use. Chase the coils to determine if the problem follows. Then, if it does follow, the wire that's dead, that's feeding that coil, trace it all the way back to the insulator on the power pack. And especially at the power pack. I see a lot of them broke there. This is a saltwater only engine since the day it was purchased new, so not uncommon for me to see this kind of problem when a wire gets smashed or whatever, the vibration from the engine, and after a while it just destroys the wire in there. And how it pulls back on itself like that, I'm not sure, but as soon as I saw that bad spot, I was like, yep, that's probably where she's at. So We got Sparky on both. I'm going to repair that more permanent, and then I'm going to wash this motor, this power head. Don't know if you can see down in there, but it's just full of yuck. And there's some salt back here on the head. I mean, clean motor overall. But then I got to decide what I'm going to do with that kill switch. I don't like it there, though. I just don't. And then I've got to take off the recoil and probably take it apart, clean it up, re-grease everything, check the dogs. You can see all the crap coming out of it, getting on top of my carb. So we're going to give her a bath first, and I won't make you endure that. I'll be right back. Okay, so it is bath time. Also, I got it laid in that position. I will remove that propeller because the previous owner told me it was bad for whatever that is worth. But as you can see, I first took some super clean purple cleaner and gave it a little bit of a scrubbing. I may do a little more scrubbing because I still see some dirt in there and salt and yuck. So I'm giving her a bath because she needs a bath. Everybody should bathe their outboard from time to time. So we'll get that thing cleaned up, get that prop off there. Of course, before the bath, I had to make sure its pump was working, its heart. So I took the carburetor off and I cleaned it out. It did not look that bad at all. Little bit of salt in the bowl there, but I cleaned it out with just regular old aerosol carb intake cleaner. Blew it out with compressed air, ran my little picking tools around, then I coated it with Tri-Flow, and now I'll put that back together before, well, once I get done washing the baby. I'll be back. Alright, we got the carburetor all back together. We got the recoil all cleaned up and lubed up with brand new line in there. And the little doggy paws are pawing. See them pawing there? See that? Boom, boom. So that's all cleaned up. Carburetor's all cleaned up. And I gave it a bath. So got a good bath all around. After I washed it, then I sprayed it with lube, and so she's a lot cleaner and a lot less salty. So I need to put the carburetor back on. I need to put the recoil back on, hook up with the hoses. I re-glued this back in. I'm going to put nuts and bolts through those two and nuts and bolts through those two, because that's just a place for salt water to get in there. And I don't know if you can see him. I don't even know if I can see him. But I'll test the zoom. See that bald eagle up there? Whoa, right there. Oh, boy, that thing got a zoom on it, don't it? I don't know how good. Oh, it's getting blurry, looks like. Oh, and shaky. See? Now that's either a young bald eagle or a golden eagle. When the young ones, before they get their white head and their white tail, that's what they look like. So that could be a young'un, or it could be a golden. I don't know. He's barking about something up there. Some crows and ravens were over here just a little bit, trying to knock him out of his tree. But he's been up there squawking. Yeah. So, she's all clean. Let's back that thing out. Oh, 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 oh. She's all clean. I took that there supposedly bad prop off, and I'm going to do the lower unit oil anyway. So sit tight, I'll be back. Okay, we're draining the lower unit oil. I emptied the yucky oil out and got the new oil going in. Something I always do is when I'm changing out my lower unit oil, I always put about a tablespoon of this product right here. Lubriplate number 105 motor and transmission, engine and transmission assembly grease. Now, why do I do that? I do it because the best outboard tech that I have ever met in person, especially on the older 4-piece type lower units, the old style OMC lower units, I definitely always put some Lubriplate 105 in there, just a couple tablespoons or so forth. The kind of lower unit I'm talking about is the one that has the spaghetti seal type 2 halves that get bolted, screwed together, and then you've got the seal where the prop shaft goes through and blah 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 blah. So those old, I guess you'd call them 2 or 3-piece lower units, I definitely always do that. But I've gotten to where I just do it on all the lower units I do, unless they're like super modern, take the sea oil and stuff like some of the Fitch E-Tech type stuff. But on these older motors, I always use that product right there. So we about got the lower unit topped off. The motor's coming along good. I'll be right back. Okay, the Johnson is about ready. I swapped out that propeller, and the one that I put on there, I dressed it up a little bit before, on my wheel before I put it on there. I got the power head all cleaned, got the recoil all cleaned, new pull cord, fixed the no spark wiring problem, cleaned the carburetor, washed out the pan, washed off the power head, air blew everything, lubricated everything. I glued in plugs. I don't know if you can see those real well, but you see this plug here, that's where they had the stop switch mounted, and this plug was loose and fell out. Then there was 2 holes here. You can see them there. There's little plastic plugs in there now. I'll show you those. Uh-oh, found a treasure down there. Where I took the carburetor off. I see a treasure. Come here, you. There's me a treasure. See? Found a treasure. So, also over here we put the little plastic plugs. There was just 2 holes there. These are all places where salt water gets in. Alright, the stop switch, I was going to mount it kind of down in that recess there, but it wasn't long enough, the threads, so I put it right here. Boom, boom, right next to the primer. Looks good there. So everything's clean. I changed the lower unit. I greased everything with some real good anti-seize. What else did we do? Change lower unit. So this thing, I think, is about ready to try and give it a start. These plugs, let me show you those. That's what they look like. They're just little plastic things. You go up to your little hanky hardware and you buy those. To find out what size you need, you take a drill bit and poke in the holes on the outboard or whatever. Then you take your drill sizer. You poke the drill bit into the hole in the outboard and then see which one of those it fits. Then when you go up to the hardware store, you take this drill sizer with you and find the hole that it fits in. Like so. Then you just take whatever, this is just regular old rubber contact cement. I find it does a good job. Paint up that little plastic thing and the hole it's going into and push it in there. You might need to tap it a little bit with a hammer. That keeps the salt water out. And that's what you're after. So, let me get set up here. Get her in the tank, get a fuel hose, and open the door, and we'll see what happens. Be right back. Okay, we got her in the tank. You will be seeing what I'm seeing. She's gonna smoke when I first hit the old, well, assuming that it starts, it's gonna smoke. Because I did put tri-flow in the cylinders. There's the temperature of the engine. Hopefully you can see that. It says 50 degrees, 0.9. That's what temperature it is out there. So, $50 degrees. And if I shine on something out here, it is 36 degrees outside. So in the shop right now it's 50 degrees, just like it is on the power head of this engine. So she's cold, you're gonna see what I see. And hopefully we got her squared away. But we'll find out real quick. Okay, got her squeezed up, got her primed up. Give her a little gas, see what happens. Up a little bit here in a sec. Good and strong. There's forward. There's reverse. Ooh, she's a smoker. Kill switch work. Alright, the kill switch. I hooked it up in the front, but I didn't check to see if it was hooked up back here. So, let's see, it comes through over here, runs over to here, and then comes over to here, I think, yeah. And where the heck's the ground part of it? So, hell, I can't even find where it goes. And the ground portion of it kind of looks like it's hooked up. Portion may not be. So I got to find out whether I got a bad kill switch or it's not a bad pin or something, but she runs good. All right, so that's the Johnson 30. A lot of salt on it, a little bit of wiring trouble. Carburetor I think would have been fine, but for peace of mind I just wanted to see. I still got some cosmetic things to do. I noticed that the idle adjustment for the cable throttle system on this one, there's supposed to be a screw thing in the end of the tiller, and I have those. I'll put one of those in there. I'll have to find out if it's the bell in the kill switch or if it's a loose wire in there, and fix that. But other than the kill switch, she's definitely running on both cylinders and sounds good, idles good, shifts good. Fresh lower unit oil with a little lubricate 105 in there. Another thing I forgot to do when I had the carburetor off that I will do is I like to put an inline fuel filter, preferably the kind that you can unscrew and clean, and a sediment bowl in there. I have lots of those. I will put one on there. So I'm going to put that, fix that knob on the end of the tiller. I put new on the transom clamps, the backs were missing, the little swivel compression cup plate deal. Both of them were off on that one. I put 2 of those in there. Seems like a really nice kicker. So I'll probably take this out here in the next few days, throw it on the back of my Red Rocket Orange skiff, my Bay Runner skiff, and give her a run, see how she does. But I think she's going to be fine. The compression numbers were good. Everything else was good on it. I've got it all buttoned up now. All the holes that were open to the air and water are now plugged, and she should be good. Everything's lubed, everything's ready to go. I may decide to sell it, not sure. But it's a good one. So that's what it takes to kind of to go through them when they come in. And I took this one on trade, as I say, and the guy said, boy, it runs good, spins like a top, purrs like a kitty. So he's right, it does. Thanks for watching.